So we've seen a lot of XSSs in previous videos where 24% done, and there's still a lot to cover. We've only barely scratched the surface. I'm actually really excited that today we're going to look into file upload vulnerabilities and then broken access control, open redirects, maybe when you're actually being able to chain it with another vulnerability, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of ground to cover, and as I said previously, I'm actually going to try to share my experience from my application security assessments alongside to bring value in this to bring value to these videos and to the materials that have been provided by Hacksplaining.com for free to everyone. So let's look into file upload vulnerabilities. Today we're gonna actually look into the attacks. Then in the next video we're actually gonna look into the prevention and a few questions. So let's start with the file upload vulnerabilities or attacks. So file uploads should be treated with caution, and first, as a side note, I should say that I always test for file upload vulnerabilities in my application security assessments, and more often than not I find issues, and I enjoy, so compared to XSS, I actually really enjoy looking for file upload vulnerabilities. They represent an easy way for an attacker to inject malicious code into your application. Let's review a typical exploitation scenario. Now, another side note is that a generic web application, modern web application, may have a file upload feature, and if you're actually carefully testing that with Burp Suite, you're actually going to see that the upload, if successful, goes to a cloud storage situation, so to speak. It could actually go into a cloud bucket on Amazon, GCP, Azure, whatever, and that also opens up the bucket or the room or the door for multiple vulnerabilities, which is why you should, if you're an application security professional, learning cloud security should be on your priority list. And stay away from cloud security. I would first stay away from cloud security courses, because courses often, most courses that are available are going to give you a watered down version of whatever the topic they're covering up, and most often than not they're gonna give you an introductory stuff. If you wanna know cloud security and have a deep understanding of cloud security, you should just go to aws.amazon.com or GCP or Azure and start reading the documentation. Start reading the documentation and apply. Once as you're reading the documentation, apply a security perspective to it. See where potential holes might appear. This type of education is not gonna be present in any course, and this type of education is for free. So this is what you should be focusing on when you're trying to learn. Just read the documentation and read it with an application security or a security perspective filter. So that being said, let's review a typical. So I'm closing the parentheses. Let's review a typical exploitation scenario. So file upload functions are a favorite target for hackers because they require your site to take a large chunk of data and write it to disk, local or cloud. This gives attackers the opportunity to smuggle malicious script onto your server. If they can subsequently find a way to execute those scripts, they can compromise your entire system. And I would actually have to say that it's not only just to smuggle or to execute malicious scripts on the server. This, maybe if you're actually reading your security blog post, or if you're taking your OWASP Top 10 course, all of them are actually going to be focusing on trying to execute malicious scripts with upload functionality. But the attack vector is much more extensive than just executing malicious scripts via upload. You can access information, you can get access to sensitive information, you can actually do directory traversal via file uploads, you can actually do injections via file uploads. So it's not all about executing malicious scripts. You can pivot your way into different resources from that specific upload functionality. Again, the attack vector is much more extensive than it is presented to you in your generic courses. Let's see how an attack might work. This is based on a real world example. So this guy is a hacker that has signed up for a website running on a popular content management system, CMS. So this looks like Facebook. He has noticed a couple of things because of the theming, even though this is very generic. He has noticed a couple of things about the site's profile image upload function. So, first, he's using a Mac. Upload, and I'm using Windows here. Uploaded files, and a lot of people are actually turned off because someone is using Windows. So it's your choice. Do whatever you want. I use Windows. I use a VPS. I don't use Kali Linux. I don't use Parrot OS. I just use the bare minimum. I would say that I only need a browser. I don't need anything else. Browser and maybe Burp Suite. Upload files do not get renamed as part of the upload process. The file name appears in the URL of the profile image when it is published. Secondly, file type checking is done in JavaScript. Really important when you're actually looking at how a file upload request looks like. Mel writes a simple script called hack.php. When this web shell is executed by PHP, it will run any command passed in the CMD parameter. I would say that it depends on how the application or the content type is actually set to be. A simple web shell which when executed in PHP will run any command passed in the CMD parameter. So the CMD parameter over here is actually taken from the user, and it's going to be passed to the system function in PHP, which actually executes system commands. So he disables JavaScript in his browser and uploads hack.php as his profile image. Since JavaScript is disabled, the file is not checked. This is ingenious. Unsurprisingly, his profile looks broken. The file he uploaded is not a valid image. However, the script now lives on the server. So what he's doing now, as you can see, it's in their content delivery network of that specific provider, and in this situation he's going to have to pass a CMD parameter here, dropping the URL of the profile image in the browser address. So going back again to here, let's go back to there. In this situation, he just right-clicked here after the profile has been uploaded, after the photo has been uploaded. He's gonna right-click here and actually go to the content delivery network where his script has been uploaded. Any command passed in the CMD parameter will be get executed on the server. His upload has created a command execution vulnerability. So file upload to command execution. This is really serious. Help Mel get access to sensitive data on the server. Pass in the locate my.cnv or conf. This is actually in the etc. I think we can just cat /etc, or this is in the Apache etc my cmv. Let's see, no such file. Let's actually locate it. Locate my.cmv. It's in etc mysql. Now we can just cat it etc mysql my.cnf, This is where the good stuff is. And there you have it. This is actually indeed pretty frightening. So this has been a very, 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 very narrow and specific example of what file upload vulnerabilities can lead to. Of course, if there is interest, I might cover file upload vulnerabilities more in depth in future videos, but in the next one we're actually going to look into protecting your file uploads. So this is it for this video.